not ready. I'm scared.
Asa, don't. You are ready. Don't be worried. We're here. We're back. Thanks so much for joining us, folks, on this Tuesday afternoon.
You're all here for my emotional support.
Yeah, absolutely. The name of the game is Winds of War. The name of this episode is Blood Money. I'm the Dungeon Master. My name is Kyle, and I'm really excited to get continuing here. Before we get going with the game, though, I just want to make a special little announcement. We were all very bummed to hear the news about Stan Lee the other day, and we just wanted to take a moment to honor him and remember him here on the stream, and we'd like to officially dedicate this session to Stan Lee. Whatever little thing we can do to help remember the guy. 95 years, a
Oh
long,
yeah.
ripe, old age, and so many accomplishments. We just want to go around and all share like our own favorite little moment or favorite thing about the guy. And I was
Some kind of anecdote.
yeah, some kind of anecdote. I was reading an article about him the other day, and I really appreciated how they highlighted this. Stan Lee was, from a very early time on working in the whole Marvel universe, he loved the idea of weaving everything in together and making it a cohesive, living, breathing universe. So an idea that he had is that they were like working on some comic. It was like the Fantastic Four, and he said there's a scene where the Fantastic Four is like having like a press conference or something. They're just getting swarmed by reporters, and Stan Lee says, "You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna put Peter Parker in here. He's not dressed like Spider-Man. He's just regular old like Peter Parker with the camera." And we're not going to like put any label or do anything like that. We're just going to draw him into the frame in the background. And yeah, they just kind of threw him in there. And he says that after they did that, they got tons of letters from people that said, "We saw Peter Parker in the crowd and we loved that you did that." So, I just think he's had such an incredible effect on everything that we do as nerds, and he helped making nerdery a cool mainstream thing. So
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Really cool guy. Lots of people have been coming on like Twitter and a whole bunch of other places saying that they've met the guy and that he was just the nicest, really humble. Um, from all of us here at Roll for Mischief, our hearts go out to his daughter and family. This must be hard for them, but made that little bit easier by knowing that he has touched the lives, personally and professionally, of so many people around the world, and everyone's the brighter and happier for it. So thank you very much, Stanley.
Yeah, my anecdote kind of is goes along with that. I actually have a friend who worked in some film production down in LA and got to work with Stan Lee for a few days, and he had just posted yesterday about just how wonderful the guy was and how energetic he was and how excited he was just to like be on the shoot and be making this movie and how he got everyone else's energy up and just kind of kept everyone smiling and just brought life to wherever he went. Yeah, I mean, I didn't read Stanley the comics he wrote back, because I'm not old at all. I'm very young, so there's a lot of things I missed. But yeah, I do not have words that are good quality right now.
That's all right.
Uh,
You're just getting warmed
I'll
up.
say so. The first time, because I grew up a DC kid, uh, like Tim Drake or not Tim Drake, sorry, Dick Grayson was like my was my guy, like from Robin to Nightwing and beyond and Green Arrow and stuff like that. I remember though the first time that I saw Stan Lee was in Mallrats. and I was so DC that I didn't even know who he was at the time. I knew that he was clear. It was obvious, but in context, that it was like some kind of intense reference, and that it's something that I should have gotten, or at least as a fan of anything that Kevin Smith was doing, should have gotten. But I didn't. But I was still a cool character. And when I went back and I watched Mallrats again later, I was like, oh hey, that's Stan Lee, and now this scene, is that much cooler, for it. So, because Excelsior from anyone else is just dumb.
That
Yeah.
was my first experience with Stanley as well as seeing him on Mallrats.
Well, yeah. So we've all said our little piece about that, and yeah, what a legacy, dude. What a legacy, and we're all happier nerds for it all. So rest in peace,
Yeah, we are.
Stan. Excelsior. I had to say it anyways. Like you said, anyone else saying it is dumb, but I'm gonna say it anyways.
Hey, I hashtagged it in our Roll for Mister tweet, so
Yeah, there you go. Excelsior is the word of the day. So, all right.
do that.
So let's get rolling. I wanted to make one more little special mention. So y'all are watching on Twitch. If you go to the left, if you take your mouse and you scroll over to the left, we have this cool new thing enabled where you can see each of the character portraits, and if you click on it, it'll give you a little pop-up that gives you all this cool information about what our characters' abilities are and attributes and whatnot. So, yeah, super duper stoked about this little add-on. Hopefully, it'll help make the whole experience much more immersive. So, yeah, enjoy that. And now we'll transition into a very special session of group therapy, and it's going to be very special because it's going to be Fiala's and Hilofax's very first group therapy. We'll get to hear how they feel about things.
So do
I
we
guess
want to
start
start with Eridu, since we all know him and
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
hopefully love him, and then we can get to the more exciting characters. All right, so I guess my group therapy is going to come with a bit of a session recap because I need to remind myself.
Please do provide a little bit of that.
Yeah, so we watched Agner get taken away by the Bureau, and Eridu, being Eridu and a good friend, attempted to punch this wizard in the back of the head. It didn't go so well. And then he and Lauren returned to the Twin Harbors and spoke with Emily and was kind of like brought into this kind of like the secret base she's got underneath the
yeah.
church doing ST. And there he met Halifax as well as Darius and who else was there? Was it just
That was
Lauren,
it
Halifax?
in the little secret base.
Yeah, just Emily, Lauren, Halifax, and Darius. And then him and Halifax exchanged some pleasantries, and then he saw I'm gonna get her name wrong again. He saw Grim, and
Yeah.
went chasing after
Fiala.
her, and introduced Halifax to Grim, and that was that.
And
Yeah.
that was that.
So Eridu is he's of two minds, but trying to make them coalesce. He really wants to get Agner free, but he also recognizes that Emily's got this job that needs to be done. So he's sort of putting this team together that's doing Emily's job, but also he's hoping to just kind of nab them into helping him save Agner, because both of them have knowledge of magic, and he's trying to infiltrate a magic bureau. So hopefully, he can pull the strings behind the scene and manipulate the situation so that things can happen. Because we all know how manipulative Eridu is, and how he's really the great mastermind of all the
yeah.
deeds happening.
No,
in the
our
world.
characters don't know that, but I mean, On certainly knows that.
Well, as players, we recently discovered that. So
Yeah.
And no one was more surprised than Asa.
No one was more surprised than me. Yeah, that was a pretty. I probably like wore it on my face a lot with just like the oh shit moments I was having over and over again. All right, but Eridu knows nothing of any of that and cannot, be emotionally connected to him. So, I'm going to pass it along to whomever would like to do their therapy.
Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah.
All right. So I apologize to anyone watching just now and the sound being a bit iffy. We did sound checks and then I swapped microphones. So I apologize if it's all out of whack now.
It's a nice microphone. I think it'll work all just fine.
It's a very good one. A friend of mine just left it at my house because we're recording podcasts here. So he just left it here. So I thought, I'll use this one because this is the better, more expensive one.
There you
anyway,
go.
Hilofax. He is my Azamar wizard. He is rolling along with things so far. Hilofax is different to On, my previous character, in that Hilofax is more personable to begin with. He enjoys the company of other people, and he enjoys the quirks and eccentricities, the contradictions that make people people.
Mm-hmm.
And so for him, joining Emily's Crusade was all about the people and helping the people out, regardless of what things are discovered. And also getting away from what he sees as a more and more oppressive home situation. So he has decided to come along, help out, because this is a friend of Emily's, and a friend of Emily's is a friend of mine. Joining this ship and seeing this amazing ragtag crew, this is an exciting adventure for Hilofax. Despite his years in the world, he's not grown weary. He's still wide-eyed and excited about new opportunities and new adventures. So he's excited to be on a ship, on what seems to be a pirate ship. This is amazing. And it also matches up with the stories that he's heard of the great and mighty Okrim and his former sailing buddies, and learning that this is all connecting to one of his bardic heroes, Okrim.
He's following in Okrim's footsteps almost.
Yeah.
He's kind of super into bards in general, too. Like, just really into that whole storytelling concept.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could be a bard.
So yeah, Hilofax is chill about the situation. He's wow, that sounds weird to say as a British person. He's rather chill.
He's so chill.
But yeah, no, Hilofax is good to kind of just roll along with things. He brings the power as well to back it up, though. That's something that we'll hopefully get to explore with Hilofax in the coming
I'm so excited.
episodes. But yeah, Hilofax is just like a kid. In fact, best thing to imagine is a combination of Gandalf early days of Fellowship of the Ring mixed in with a little bit of the chief engineer from Galaxy Quest. Just those two guys. He's just got along for the ride. He's happy to be here.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
But yeah, that's Hilofax.
All right.
Okay, so
Fiala.
Fiala Aloro, her call sign is Grimfire. Those who know her know her as Grim, which is what Asa was referring to earlier. She is on what would I say? She's just kind of essentially on a walkabout right now. And so
she's trying to out-sexy Eridu.
To out-sexy Eridu.
Like, I'm pretty sure Josh built her stats just to be way more attractive and sexual than Eridu.
Actually, the funny thing is, it's the opposite. I was like, oh wow, she's stacked to be way sexier than Eridu. I guess that's what's gonna happen now.
Right.
In all fairness, though, Aquaman is probably actually sexier than Eridu too.
I mean, he does have a 13 charisma, so it's not like it's super up there.
Yeah. So she's on kind of a walkabout, and her old subordinate Eridu needs a help with something, and this is as good a mission as any. She is a lot more um, morally flexible than my two previous characters. So she has no. She's okay with just going on whatever mission,
Mm-hmm.
essentially.
And
So
yet somehow she'll find herself morally at odds with Eridu. Just keeps happening.
It's a natural
no,
reaction.
no, unlikely. So yeah, so I think that yeah, that's pretty much it. She doesn't have any feelings about the situation other than sure, fuck it, let's follow Eridu for a bit.
I thought you were just going to leave it as she doesn't have any feelings.
Oh no.
She just doesn't have
She
any
has
feelings.
She's got some feelings.
A few.
You know?
One or two
It's
in there.
mostly lust, but she has feelings.
Like I said, one or two.
So yeah, so that's the long and short of her right now. Not a lot happened for her.
For sure. Well, yeah, it's still early in the episode, and I appreciate the little recap, Asa, and I'll fill in a couple more details.
Yep.
So yes, Emily did need you guys to do a job, and the job, she was trying to give you like a good idea of what you needed to do or how you were gonna do it, but she could only give you some vague stuff. Essentially, you guys need to go intercept a ship that is coming into Twin Harbor from the west. Not exactly sure where it's coming from, but these mysterious ships have been coming in through Twin Harbor carrying, gods know what. And Darius is a little miffed about it. If you guys will remember, all the way back to like episode 3 when Darius was introduced, there was some like you guys learned some information as far as his family being connected to the shipping industry in Twin Harbor. So you guys can infer pretty much that Darius is getting a little miffed about all these shipments coming in. Maybe it's because he's not getting a taste of it. Maybe it's because it's just an uncertainty that he's not willing to contend with. But anyway, so Darius, it's obvious like his what he needs to get out of this, and Emily is also just concerned about Twin Harbor in general. So you guys need to find out what is on these mysterious ships that have been coming in. You went onto the Tranquility ship and met with all of your good friends that you've known for a while. Their ship has gotten an upgrade. It's like kind of a bit better.
Only Eridu knows them.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
That's what I meant to say. Eridu is very good friends with them. But Theala, Halifax, as you're spending time on the ship, you get to meet the crew, and let me just give a whole short little list of them. I don't really have super detailed visuals to go along, but you've got the captain, Malcolm Ragthal. He's a dragonborn with red scales, and he's just a big burly guy. He's got this big breastplate on, an impressive sword at his hip, and he just carries himself tall and proud. And yeah, definitely seems like the captain of the vessel. You have Jane Cobb, who is the big, lovable half-orc, pretty ugly looking, but he's endearing. He's very endearing. But
The dumbest hat you've ever seen.
yeah, with the dumbest hat you've ever seen. But he just looks like he's the bruiser. He's like kind of like the bouncer of the ship. If the ship needed a bouncer, he would be a good one.
Yeah.
There's Kaylee Copperfire, who is a small halfling with very bright eyes and tons of energy, and she just talks like a mile a minute, and has just got this squeaky voice that's very cute. And you've got Heward Wash, who has this bright red hair, scrawny face, this little goatee, and you can always find him at the helm. He is very concerned with guiding the Tranquility to wherever it needs to go. There is his wife, Zoe Wash, and she's the first mate of the crew. And she is a tiefling, very intimidating looking one at that, who is 100% business. She's friendly enough, but 100% business. Then you have Matt Simon, who is a cleric and mostly just, heals everyone because they get into a lot of trouble, and he always needs to be healing them. There's Melody Simon, who is mysterious and doesn't talk a lot, but it looks like she might be able to kick your ass if you look at her wrong. There is Shepherd Parma, who looks like he's like this weird looking dude. Like, I don't know if your characters have ever seen a furbolg before. Like,
I don't think we've established the.
I don't think we've established them, but I like.
They're from somewhere over in the Dwarven.
Yeah, they're like
they're
somewhere over there.
Because they're like basically.
Their culture is very mysterious.
Half elf, half giant.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, but he's a druid, and he's very connected to the natural order of things. And then finally, there is Sierra Inada, who is an Azamar, like you, Halifax, and she certainly catches your eye.
I mean, she catches anybody's eye.
Yeah, anybody's eye, but certainly Halifax's
She's also
eye.
a bard.
Yeah. Ooh, a double whammy for Halifax, an Azamar and a bard. So yeah, you guys have a good amount of time to spend with the Tranquility crew as you journey to the west, and you guys all meet in what essentially serves as the galley for the ship, and Malcolm has gathered the whole crew together with you guys to try and give you some more information about how y'all are gonna handle this. So Malcolm, he has to like talk, like everyone's just kind of talking at the same time, just like chit-chatting or whatever, and then Malcolm takes a big mug of ale and just slams it on the table and starts shouting to have his voice heard. Quiet down now, quiet down, quiet down, quiet down. All right. Here's what we have going on. We're going to see the ship soon. They've been making regular treks from the west to Twin Harbor about once a week. And I'm not exactly sure how successful this is going to be. And he starts chuckling at himself nervously. But he looks over at Sierra and says, "Sierra, will you get the thing?" And she just merely nods and gives him an icy look. She disappears out of view, and she comes back, and she has this large flag that has a symbol on it. And Eridu certainly recognizes what the symbol is, and it is it signifies an organization called the Harbor Watch, and it's essentially like Twin Harbor's version of the Coast Guard, if that makes sense.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh? Cool.
Yeah, Twin Harbor's got its own like kind of Coast Guard going on. So Malcolm says, "I don't want to say exactly how we got this, but we got this. And I think this is going to be our best chance at intercepting the ship and trying to keep it secret somehow."
Are you suggesting we disguise ourselves?
Yes. Yes. I don't think we'll need to disguise ourselves, but we'll certainly try and play it off as if this ship were an officially sanctioned ship belonging to the Twin Harbor Watch.
So, just if Eridu would know this. Is a harbor watch like more like a militia structure where people volunteer to be part of it and can like use their own vessels, or is everything that's being used, is it all ships that belong to the city of Twin Harbors that are sort of leased out to those that are trained under the harbor watch?
I think it's like a mix of it because I think it makes sense to have the pragmatism of like letting people use their own vessels, but there is definitely a lot of oversight involved in which vessels are being used. And
There'd probably also be, if someone's ship is scuppered or under repair or something, you just take down the flag and put it on whatever vessel you'd managed to get your hands on.
Okay. Guess I'm just wondering about just questioning the internal structure of it,
yeah,
because then it's not like they'd have like uniforms and everyone is just really structured.
exactly. Yeah. No, it's not organized necessarily to that level, and it is not like a military operation really at all. It is more of just like, trying to. It's more like policing, policing the waters, and also safety. If a ship goes down, then like the harbor watch is the one that is like going to go like rescue everyone from the ship in the harbor that's sinking or whatever, that kind of stuff. But you definitely can tell that what Malcolm is trying to do right now is illegal, and
Yeah.
will piss some people off if you guys get caught doing it.
I wonder who. I can't think of any authoritarian figure in Twin Harbors who would get pissed off about
There are
Eridu specifically being involved.
Yeah,
in
there are
illegal
no authoritarian figures in Twin Harbor. What are you talking about, Asa?
Actually, ones who are not pleased with Eridu.
No,
All right.
not at all.
Cool. Well,
Yes, the plan I have, like I said, I don't think it's a very good one, but God's damn it, it's the only one I have right now. The crew and I will pretend to be members of the Harbor Watch, and we'll feed them some heap of shit like the seas in the harbor are too rough right now for ships to come in. We'll tell them whatever we have to distract them. But what we need to do is we need to stop the ship, and you all can go with Kaylee and Jane Cobb on a lifeboat and take the lifeboat around the other side. Hopefully you're not seen, and you can try and enter the ship secretly. Infiltrate it, find whatever information that you can.
What kind of information do you need?
Well, I don't need any of it. This is all for Emily. But from what Emily has told me, she just needs some kind of concrete proof about what is being taken in these ships. I mean, if you can steal some cargo, that would be very helpful. If there are any shipping manifests, any of the like there.
I'd imagine what my companion is trying to say is that her skill set has been less in the information gathering sector and more in the acting upon it sector as of late. And so she requires myself and Eridu to join her on this expedition. But would any of your crew also like to join us, or are you going to keep the engine running, so to speak?
Yes, the rest of us, like I said, the rest of us are going to be participating in this distraction. We'll essentially all be on the top deck trying to speak with the crew on the opposite ship and just keep them busy. And Kaylee Copperfire points at the little halfling, and Jane Cobb points at the big half-orc, will be accompanying you on the lifeboat.
Very good. Well met, Master Jane Cobb. You're a big one.
My mama said the same thing.
I wonder if my
Lovely lady.
services would not be better suited with you, distracting the crew.
Nonsense, Grim. We need you to poke holes in any bodies that get in the way of us and our mission.
There's so much to unpack there. I don't poke holes. I blow them up.
Oh.
But, okay. I'll see how this plays.
Very good.
Very good.
Master Captain of the ship, how long do you think we have until we reach our destination?
Not long. We've made good time already. I imagine we'll be intercepting the ship within the hour.
Wonderful.
Indeed. I need to step away for just a minute. Can you guys do like a little in character getting to
I was
know
actually just going
you? You know, it's like you guys just had your debriefing.
We're just gonna break into spontaneous song and dance. Don't worry, you're good.
Okay, that's good.
Wizard.
Hmm?
Wizard. I know that you, I know how you guys operate. Did you prepare any kind of teleportation spells today?
Well, I can certainly know that within my book I have a great variety of spells. Teleportation is not one that I currently have. However, if you know of someone who has such a spell, I'll be able to copy it down into my book and prepare it for later.
Unfortunately, that's not how bards work.
Huh.
So
You don't
we'll
write your...
have to. I know how to teleport. I know the dimension door spell.
Oh, fantastic. You really must tell me the intricacies of that. I have been trying to note down how teleportation might work, whether it's some kind of non-Euclidean bending of just things where they are and when they are. I'm struggling to come up with a term for it, some kind of space time thing. But I imagine that a teleportation would have something to do with the manipulation of that, just as throwing a fireball has to do with renting a space between the realms and summoning forth fire from another dimension.
I would say that that is close to precisely what it is. It depends on the spell. From what I've been told, I only know so much. But it is, in my experience, essentially a matter of shifting between here and the ethereal plane, and then shifting back. So in the case of Dimension Door, I note where I need to be and shift in and out.
Oh,
Using that as a gateway, if you will, or a fast travel.
Another realm of being used as a conveyance medium.
Yes. I believe there are others that use. There are plenty of elves that use the Feywild to do the same.
I have read something on the subject. Yes, apparently the elves migrated from there some time ago, and some have simply retained the ability to momentarily step back and forth. It's fascinating. I would love to be able to observe one doing it, but thus far I've not been successful.
As you're talking, Eridu is just like his hand is just kind of becoming transparent and then apparent again, and it looks like he's just reaching in and out of something. But he's just kind of like sitting in the corner, observing, like listening to you, but not really like paying any mind.
I'm going to willfully be ignorant of the fact that this is going on. that all Halofax wants to do right now is see an elf teleporting or accessing the Feywild in some way, and it's happening just outside of his periphery.
It would depend on where you're at to be whether or not I see that.
I think it'd be kind of amusing if you wanted to be able to like, just see Eridu out of the corner of your eyes and like how Halifax is back.
Here, let's find out. Okay, that was all sorts of. Let me roll that properly. That is a D12, not a D20. Not great. 10. So no, probably not.
All right.
Remember, it's the icosahedron, not the dodecahedron.
Yes.
To keep your hedron
However,
straight.
fascinating thing, all the vertices of the D20 match up with the faces of a D12, and vice versa.
Oh.
They're like inverses of each other.
Oh, yeah. They all do that, yeah.
Trippy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's some geometry for ya.
Oh, yeah.
Who would have thought?
Never know what you're going to
learn
get.
some geometry.
I even made a reference to Euclid earlier. I'm not sure if Euclid exists in the D&D world.
Really doesn't, but
I mean, he does now. There'll be some. I have been on a side tangent, not for this particular world, but for other game settings. I have been like going, okay, who is the Euclid of this world? Because that applies to the way that magic functions.
Uh-huh.
So, who is that person going to be? Probably someone that has a spell named after them.
I always go with, because I wanted to write a novel where basically you change one aspect in it and it affects the timeline down the road, and I decided, for the sake of reference, just because it could be anyone, so why not just name it then? Even if you change the timeline where they're placed, just keep it there for the sake of reference. So as long as you're not messing with, well, this is too early in the timeline, like, or in the development of society, just name it that.
Yeah, you can hand wave a lot of things.
Yeah.
All right. So was there anything in particular that your characters wanted to do while you're on the Tranquility?
How long are we going to be at sea?
Malcolm said that you guys will be intercepting the other ship in about an hour. You know, within
in about an hour?
Yeah, I mean, it could be like 30 minutes, could be like 45, could be an hour 20. You know, it's like kind of like a little guesstimate.
Okay, that's just not enough time. So.
Okay, what were you gonna try and do?
I was going to seduce Jane Cobb, but that's just not enough time. 30 minutes isn't gonna do anything for her, so.
You know what's funny? I was also going to try to seduce Jane Cobb.
She'd be down with that.
One at a time, gentlemen.
I think the conflict would be so much fun.
Wow.
Anyway, so yeah, half an hour just wouldn't do her any good. So no, she won't do it.
All right, so that's a no. Are you guys gonna try and do anything that's not that?
I think mostly just sitting, drinking, and talking with the crew, just sort of building a rapport with whoever sort of happens to sit around. I'd imagine that the druid, what was his name? Shepherd
Parma.
Palmer. There we go. Not Pilau. I'd like to sit and chew the ear off Shepherd Palmer for a bit. You know, pick his brains over.
Yeah, talking with Shepherd Parma is very interesting because Shepherd Parma has a very just subdued way of talking. Doesn't really show a lot of intense emotions at all, but just has this very zen, also very slow method of speech. He just enjoys every single word that he speaks. And he always ends sentences with something like, "Go with grace, my child," or something like that. Vaguely condescending, but kind of sweet, you know.
I'm gonna go chat up Sierra. Just hang and chat.
For sure. Sierra seems very comfortable around you.
As well
Seem,
she should.
yeah, Sierra seems like she's found a kindred spirit, perhaps, in Fiala.
That she has.
Yeah. So they're gonna
Okay.
go braid each other's hair and be BFFs now.
I'm going to compliment Jane Cobb on his excellent hat, and ask him a story of how he came across said object.
Jane Cobb looks very shocked and actually, maybe even is like choking up with emotion a bit and says that you're you're the first person who has liked my hat.
It is quite a magnificent hat, Jane.
Thank you.
You must tell me, how did you come across this object?
I made it myself.
Oh, elaborate, please.
I took thread and did this thing, and
Well,
I
mean,
made it.
How did you learn how to make this?
I don't even know. I
It
just
was like
I just
it
did
was
it.
already inside you, and you just had to make it part of the world.
To be fair, it's like it's very shittily made. It's like very ugly, and
Oh,
it looks like it's
I know.
barely put together. But he is still very choked up and very like I don't know, very just he thinks you're very sweet. That's all.
Oh,
Yeah. So, anyways,
we'll
hold on a
spend time talking about the hat.
and you guys definitely talk about the hat. He even lets you try it on.
Oh man, does it fit well? Is it
No.
like a?
He's got an enormous head, so it's
I
like kind
know.
of like just covering your entire head.
Yeah, for sure he's a half orc.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
Oh,
So in that case, you guys hang with the Tranquility crew and get some like nice rapport built up, and then soon enough, Malcolm comes storming down from the top deck, his heavy metal boots just clanging and clanking away, and then he lets out a roar of excitement and says, "Everyone on the top deck, gather! We're here!"
Race up to the top deck.
Race up to the
As
top
I
deck.
leave Sierra behind, I'm gonna touch her arm and then head out. A little slow.
Word. She'll touch your hand back, and it seems like she doesn't want you to leave.
Nope, don't want to go either. But job's a job.
Gotta do a job. So as you guys get up to the top deck and look toward the west, you see a ship fast approaching. And it is a sleek vessel made of dark oak, and it's flying plain white sails that bear no identifying mark at all. As the two ships are racing toward each other, Malcolm barks an order back to the helmsman, Heward Wash, and Wash just gives him a cockeyed look and says, "One of those? I mean, okay, fine, but don't blame me if the ship tips over." And Malcolm just says, "Do it, just
I'm
do
a leaf
it."
on the wind. I'm a leaf on the wind. I'm a leaf on the wind.
No, he's not on the wind though. He's like, "I'm a leaf on the water. I'm a leaf on the water. A leaf on the water." So what Wash does is that he just starts wrestling with the helm. Just starts wrestling with it and starts like rocking it back and forth, and then he takes it over here, and the ship does this long, slow kind of arc, and then he pulls it back the other way and just cuts the angle just like this, so that like if the other ship is coming it this way, then he's like kind of broadsiding, he's kind of bringing the Tranquility to be perpendicular to the other ship as it's coming. As this maneuver gets underway, the opposing ship, you guys don't see any activity on the top deck. That was something that I mentioned last session, is that something that's mysterious about these ships is that like no one sees any crew on the ship. There's like no reports of seeing like, oh, is these kind of people or these kind of people or anyone at all. So of their own accord, the sails on the opposing ship start to drop, and the ship just slows and slows and slows, and then you hear a big splash as an anchor gets dropped, and as the ship tries to slow itself as much as it can so it doesn't slam into the Tranquility. And then everyone on the deck of the Tranquility just goes like, as the ship gets closer and closer. And Wash does one of these where he's like, I can't even look. But it's all okay. It's all okay. And as the opposing ship slows on its approach, Malcolm, he looks back to you guys, and you're clustered in this area next to the lifeboat, and there's kind of a bunch of stuff around you, a bunch of crates and everything that are obscuring your view from the opposing ship. But then Malcolm barks an order back at you guys to get in the lifeboat and get going.
While I approach the lifeboat, I would like to summon Tobias back onto my shoulder
Okay.
and instruct him to fly over the ship, duck down to the deck, and then come back. And while he's doing that, once I've sat in the lifeboat, I'm going to use my ability to see through his eyes, basically access his senses.
Okay, cool. So you're going to have Tobias fly to the opposite ship and then just touch down on the top deck?
Yeah,
Then...
just to sort of top down, see if any activity is about, and then just fly back.
For sure. So I'll describe this one thing really quick, and then I'll say what you see with Tobias. So as you guys get into the lifeboat, Shepard Parma is right next to you guys, and there's so Jane Cobb's in the lifeboat, Kaylee's in the lifeboat, Shepard Parma, and also the cleric Matt Simon are both there, and they're like operating the pulleys to get the lifeboat ready to cast off. And then Shepard Parma also has this other pulley. It's just more like a rope. He's got a rope, and it's stretching all the way down to the water off of the ship. And he's pulling it up, and he's pulling it up. And you see that it is a bucket at this point that's just filled with seawater. So he finally gets the bucket, kisses the side of the bucket, whispers a prayer, and then just dumps it on all of you in the lifeboat. And you are just covered in water. You're like soaking wet. You're chilling. And exactly. And then Shepard Parma croaks, "This should keep you hidden from the prying eye. Go with grace, my child."
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I don't know why he's got an old man voice, but I just really want to do an old man voice for Parma.
But yes, I'll in fact start gathering some of the water that has flicked off back onto me because I assume it's useful.
Yeah, if you look at each other, it's like, and if you look at the boat itself, what's happening is that like everything, it's like kind of like this, it's like this oil kind of sheen is just spreading over everything, and it's just changing the color, like it's changing everything, like your skin, your clothes, the wood on the lifeboat. It's changing all of it to be this kind of like murky, bluish green seawater color. It's just like totally like a camouflage. Like every surface is just trying to get camouflaged to be this color.
If we were to roll for stealth, would we add 10 to that score?
Not add 10. I was going to do something else, but it is a bonus for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyways, so Shepard Parma does that to y'all, and even though you are soaking wet now, Halifax, you are still able to close your eyes and access the senses of Tobias as he is flying over to the opposing ship. And he touches down on the deck and he looks around and he sees that the top deck of this ship is remarkably clean. You know, like not even many scuff marks of shoes or boots on the deck. But sure enough, you start to hear this thumping going on, and as Tobias looks to the left to where the stairs from the bottom decks come from, you see figures coming up onto the deck. And sure enough, they are stout, surly-looking dwarves wearing dark leather, and they have, you know, the very typical dwarven facial hair that is braided. It's got these big, like, rings braided into the beards and everything. And they look pissed off. They look very pissed off.
Yes, let's summon Tobias back. As much as they may mistake him for a regular crow, let's not give them the chance.
As
And if I recall right, these are the boats that are self-propelled. They're not actually driven by anyone.
I think that's our current theory because we haven't seen crew.
Certainly didn't see anyone behind the helm.
Yeah, I remembered that being a thing that Emily brought up. Like there are these boats that are drifting around that aren't actually crewed by, or not running by any mechanism that normally a boat would use.
Yeah.
Travel.
As Tobias flaps away, he's a white raven, right?
Yes.
He is, yeah. So as Tobias flaps away, you hear one of the dwarves mutter under his breath, "Oh, those are supposed to be bad luck, don't you know?"
Okay, so they
Those
appear
are
to be
supposed to be
normal
bad
seamen.
luck, don't you know? Don't you know?
Don't you know? Don't you know?
That's the new dwarven accent right there.
Yeah. It's actually Wisconsin.
Right at it. Yep.
I will, as he's flying back to me, I will release my hold on his senses and come back to being on the boat, so to speak.
And realize that you're soaking wet.
Yes. Dwarves. Dwarves on the boat.
That should make for some interesting conflict inside the city itself.
I'm not sure what kind, what flag they fly, but they don't seem terribly happy.
Yes, the Twin Harbors has become considerably unaccepting of dwarves since the assassination of the ambassador.
Yes, well, killing someone will tend to sour one's opinion of the one doing the killing. Unfortunately, it seems to have bled over to the others like them.
Yes, unfortunately, it does seem to be very xenophobic.
So as Simon and Parma are operating the pulleys and the levers very quickly to get the lifeboat elevated off to the side of the ship and then lowering down into the water, your last views of the top deck is Sierra comes up from the deck to stand next to Malcolm. Zoe Wash is also there, and then even Melody is there, but Melody's kind of like hiding behind some crates, just kind of like waiting and watching and seeing how the situation is playing out. And Malcolm stands tall, stands proud, takes a deep breath, and he locks eyes on the figures on the opposite deck. And as they get closer, he just looks like he's ready to say some bullshit, because that's what he did tell you that he was going to do, was say some bullshit. And so hopefully they can buy you some time. And actually, that's coming from Kaylee. Hopefully Malcolm can buy us some time. I really don't think we have long, but we got to do what we can do.
Well, we'll find a point of egress and find what we can find. We'll be as quick as we can.
Yes. Let's. So as the lifeboat is curling around, so yeah, essentially like I kind of brought up this whole thing where it's like this is the Tranquility perpendicular to the opposing ship, and then you guys are coming like kind of from behind the Tranquility, trying to like sneak over to the side while they're like talking to everyone on the top deck right there. So as you guys are doing that, I'm going to ask for a check, and so this is way. Well, you're getting too excited, Drew. Calm down. Calm down. Hillowfax
Oh
is
my
going
god,
crazy.
we're rolling dice.
Oh my god, it's actually happening. So so you guys can do this as a group, or you just like nominate who would be the best one for this. But you'll make a stealth check. With advantage because of the camouflage that Shepherd Parma gave you all, and
So we all get advantage on the roll, or would it
no,
be?
well, just one person. I'm just gonna have one person do a check.
I have a +9. What do you got?
Mine's a
don't.
6.
Hey, you want me to do it?
My
Go
stealth
for
is a
it.
+3.
Okay.
All right,
Sorry,
so
stealth. It happened to be one of the two that I chose expertise on. So.
well, there you go. So we got the stealth check with advantage, and then also I'm gonna need one person to make an athletics check,
Oh, that is for sure not me.
and I'm gonna make an athletics
Really?
check for Jane Cobb.
Oh, I have a 2 in athletics.
Yeah, man, mine's a -1, so no, I mean.
I also
Yeah,
have
mine
a 2.
is only 2 because I'm
athletics.
proficient.
Well, I will make the athletics check.
Okay, go for it. So the flavor here is that you're opposite of Jane Cobb. You know what I mean? Like he's got the one thing and you got the other thing, and you're both going on the lifeboat.
Mm-hmm.
Bad roll, huh?
Got an 8. That's in total.
All right. So essentially, what happens is that Fiala is like helping you guys stay stealthy somehow and stay cool, and trying to like guide you all past like this choppy wave and that choppy wave and get you guys on a good path. But Hillowfax is having a hard time keeping up with Jane Cobb. So what ends up happening is that your lifeboat, it's making good progress, but then you start just kind of going in circles a little bit. And you do a couple of loops, and what that means is that you guys have to do another check. You're still on the hook for another stealth check, Fiala.
Yeah, I figured.
And you have to do
19.
another one. Okay, so let me roll for Jane Cobb here. Oh yeah.
Nope, 25 again.
Well, all right then. Fiala keeps it strong with the stealth, and then Hillowfax, properly embarrassed by this point, decides he really needs to get it going. So both you and Jane Cobb push it and get the rest of the way there. Fiala, as part of your whole thing too, it's like you're keeping an eye on the top deck, you know, and just making sure that there's no one like peering over the side or, you know,
Right.
Anything like that. And you confirm that everything's good. If there are more dwarves on the top deck, they are currently very distracted by the Tranquility crew.
Gotcha. Is it like it's like the daytime? What time is it?
Oh, it is the daytime.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, I don't know, just like kind of like late afternoon. You know, not quite evening, but yeah. The sun's on its way down.
Okay, so the sun's on its way. Okay, yeah, so it's afternoon.
Yeah, it's like
Not
3
yet.
o'clock or something.
Okay.
Mhm.
That just affects things.
Clearly, it's winter because the sun's starting to go down at 3.
Well, no, like in the sense that it's like here, not like that it's down here.
Yeah. Anyways, so once you guys pull the lifeboat up to the side of the ship, like I said, it's just made of dark oak. It is solid, and now that you're this close, you can really admire the craftsmanship on the ship itself. Like every one of these boards, where they're joined together, like you can you can see the seam of the boards, but it's also just so smooth. It's so completely smooth. If you touch your hand on it, it just seems like one giant piece of wood. You know, it's just like very, very well crafted. And Kaylee, at this point, stands up in the lifeboat and yells at Jane Cobb, "Keep this thing steady, I can't focus!" And Jane Cobb says, "I'm sorry, I'm doing what I can." He's got kind of a dopey voice that I'm still trying to get a hang of. But anyway, so Kaylee pulls out of her pouch, she has what looks to be a spell scroll. And she unfurls that bad boy, and she starts reading some magic words that are like, blah, 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 magic words. And then, sure enough, casts her hand out at this point that is not right in front of you guys, but higher up in relation to the ship wall. And there is a rippling in the wood. And from this center point, this hole starts to open up in all dimensions, like this way, that way. This giant hole just starts opening up on the side of the ship. And and Kaylee says, "We won't have much time. Let's go."
There's your Euclidean mathematics at work, Halifax.
Indeed.
I'll step into the ship.
So it takes a little bit of finagling, you know. Actually, Jane Cobb reaches under the seat in the lifeboat, and he has grappling hook. And while he's still sitting down, he just goes like, whip, 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 wah! And just throws the grappling hook up, and it hooks onto the wall. And he says, "After you. I'll stay here and keep the lifeboat steady."
The inside of the ship, does it look lit at all, or do we need a source of...
Right. You guys are like from the bottom looking up, so and it's kind of from this vantage point it looks dark, but you know you guys don't really have a good vantage point to look into.
Well, we all have dark vision to start us off with, so I suppose we can get up there and then get a lay of the land.
Every single one of you guys?
Yep.
That pisses me off, dude.
That's fine, man. Hey, the thing to keep in mind about dark vision is it's not like you can just boom see in the dark. You see black and white. You only see like 60 feet. There's still
but it gets you the start. Like it gets you so that way.
Yeah.
Shit is still annoying though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the best thing to take advantage of with dark vision, I find, is that the fact that you're still seeing in dim conditions means that anything can try and hide while you're still kind of looking at it.
Interesting.
And I believe they have advantage or something like that while hiding in dim light, so you still have that negative.
Okay, clearly I need to do some more research on this.
Yeah, dude, you really need to. If you get a party full of people with dark vision, research it and figure out how to screw us over, because it's not that hard.
All right, watch out! Okay. Watch out next week, y'all.
There's also there's also a range.
Yeah. So you all scramble up the rope, and that's like no check necessary. You guys are going to be just fine at doing that.
The 7th level. I mean, this is just...
Okay, it's easy peasy. As you pass through the dark tunnel, I have this line in here. It takes a while for your eyes to adjust. I guess I'll just scratch that out.
I mean,
and then I'm gonna pop.
That could still work.
No. So it's the dim light, blah blah blah.
Popping dancing lights.
Wait, okay, dancing lights. You got some dancing lights, whatever. So scattered around.
So now I have 4 torch-sized lights. They're like little flames.
All right.
Dancing in the air.
Sick. Scattered around the perimeter of this room are torches that give off light but no heat. They are obscured, however, by the many enormous crates filling this deck of the ship. Each one of these crates is large enough that all four of you could fit comfortably inside. And four of you meaning in the ship right now, it's Halifax, Eridu, Theala, and Kaylee went up with you guys. Jane Cobb is on the lifeboat. He's your getaway driver, essentially.
Rower.
Getaway
I would
rower.
like
There you
to
go.
float an idea by the party.
Mm-hmm.
Thiala, Eridu, you are the strategist, and so I defer to your opinion here. But this could present some kind of evidence. I think we should delve deeper into the ship. But would it not help the cause if we were to lower one of these crates down into the rowboat with Jane Cobb now, send him back, and then on a return journey pick us up with whatever else we might find in the meantime?
Haley, how long will that hole hold? Is that a possibility, or are we going to run out of time?
It's possible. I don't really know. I'm gonna be honest. I've never used that kind of thing before. We got that scroll on a recent job as a reward, and it was pretty cool. And I really wanted to use it before, but I just never really found a good opportunity. And I'm really glad I held on to it. But like I said, I've never used it before, and I don't really know how long it's gonna last. But it can't be that long.
Fantastic, Kaylee. I think that we should risk it. There are other exits off the ship, after all.
Yes, and hopefully there will be other boats on the ship as well if we do get stranded.
The only thing I'm worried about is I can't carry two of you if shit goes downhill. I can carry one of you, so I need one of you to...
I can get myself back to the ship without any real issue. Kaylee, you don't have to stay with us if you are concerned about how you would get back to the ship.
Okay. I mean, I just don't want to make you feel abandoned or anything, but this is just really not my thing. The only thing I was here for
I go over and
was
I
the scroll.
kneel in front of her, and I put my fingers on her chin, kind of stroke a little bit, and I go, "Don't worry, little one. You're fine. We can take care of ourselves."
Okay. If it's okay with you, then I'll go back with Jane Cobb.
Okay. Then I kiss her on the forehead and I get back up.
Let's get one of these boxes into the ship. And this is, Kaylee, where I think your specialties will help us the most. Finding a way to lower this thing into the ship.
I'll see what I can do. Let me go talk to Jane Cobb and tell him what's going on.
While she's going to do that, what I would like to do is summon Tobias again, and send him out of the hole after Kaylee to fly up and around some distance away, so that when he banks around and comes back towards the ship, it doesn't look like he's just come from the ship. But I'm going to have him land atop one of the masts of this ship and just keep an open line. So long as we're within 100 feet, we can telepathically communicate.
Okay.
So I just want him to sit on top deck and just see if the conversation between the dwarves and the Tranquility goes south to the point where all the dwarves suddenly draw their weapons and start firing or something. Or just to give me a quick warning if anything really drastic happens.
For sure.
Or if it actually starts to die down and we got to get out fast.
That's the other thing. Yeah.
So Tobias, you can telepathically communicate with him.
Yeah.
What does he sound like? I'm just curious. When you talk to Tobias, what does he sound like?
I like to imagine that Tobias is preoccupied with noises that he's heard, so it'll be kind of like a Kenku, because ravens can mimic in the same way that Kenku can. I'd imagine that he makes an effort.
The Kenku are essentially raven people.
Yeah. So he makes an effort to try and communicate in words to me, but for the most part, it's feelings and things with the telepathy.
Oh, okay.
Occasionally he'll just like in a raveny type voice, just like mimic something back
Ah!
that he's heard.
So
Yeah.
all right. So that'll be my signal if Tobias tells you something is ah! That'll work.
Awesome.
All right, that'll work.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that works.
Sweet.
I feel like you said something slightly offensive in crow language. Whatever
Sorry.
language that is. Just...
Sorry, I'm just not very good at crow language. So anyhow, so
I'm personally offended by this. It's Raven.
My bad. My bad. So, anyways, so Kaylee books it out of there. She was more than happy to go hang out with Jane Cobb and keep your seats on the lifeboat warm. And she's also going to go brief him and tell him like what you guys are trying to do. And as you guys wait for a second and take stock of what's going on, I also prepared a couple of images, so let me go ahead and show you one of those really quick. If you guys want to take a look at your Twitch stream, you'll be able to see it. So there's a symbol that is on every single one of these crates on the face of them, and this is what that symbol looks like. There is no text to accompany the symbol at all. Are you guys seeing it?
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. So there's no text at all. It's just this mysterious symbol on every single one of the crates. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to continue.
Hold on. I'm going to try to... Let's see if... I think I have paper. Hold on one second. Yeah. I want to, like, try to basically copy that symbol.
Okay.
If it's imprinted, you could do a rubbing.
Okay. Yeah, either way.
Imprinted. Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
if it's
sure.
burned in.
Yeah,
Just be
yeah.
quicker.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, it's definitely one of those things that looks like it had like a large like metal thing and it burned into the wood. Yeah, that's what it looks like. So
it would be like raised or depressed enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So rubbing.
Then I'll use I have like ink pen, ink and paper, and I want to essentially.
Yeah, that. It's a simple enough design to where you can scratch that out pretty easily. So so Theala's posted up in front of one of the crates, focused on doing this really quick. And Halifax and Eridu, I would like both of you to give me perception checks.
Okay. Never mind. I will ask. I have no opinions.
18.
No opinions.
21.
Okay.
Will this be
roll I've made?
No. I was about to say, is this at disadvantage because we're using our dark vision? But we're not using our dark vision. We have dancing lights and heatless torches.
Yeah, no, you guys are good. Eridu, you see just down the way, it's like the way these crates are set up, some of them they're like rectangular crates, by the way, like really large rectangular crates. And some of them are laying down, some of them are standing up. I keep dropping my pencil for some reason. Some of them are laying down, some of them are standing up, and there's one of them just down the way that is standing up. It's like leaned over a little bit against this wall, and Eridu, you see that the lid to the crate on the front is off just a little bit, and it's kind of open. And as soon as you see that crate with the slightly open lid, you see something out of the corner of your eye. It looks like a moving shadow that just passes. And then as you look to see where that shadow was, it's no longer there. Will you go check out that crate?
I'm going to Halifax. There's some sort of... I think there's something in here.
Hmm.
I saw something out of the corner of my eye, but when I looked, it was gone. It was just like a shadow passing by. I don't know if it was someone moving by, but this crate over here, it is open. I would like to go and try to see what's inside. Just keep your eyes open and watch out for anything.
Okay. What I would like to do is cast light on the head of my staff
Okay.
and offer it as an additional aid to us finding out what's inside here. Like just sort of hold it over Eridu's shoulder so we can clearly see what he's doing.
Good call.
All right, so you're kind of like got my back, like looking out for me but holding this over me while I look inside the. Oh,
Yep.
crate.
So
Okay.
around.
Mhm.
So Eridu steps up and looks inside the crate.
All right. So as Eridu lays a hand on the crate, and he's got the little orb of light thing coming over, the staff of light coming over his head. As you lay a hand on the crate, there is a bright white glow that comes from inside the crate. And what looks like a hand wearing a metal gauntlet comes from inside, and it grabs the lid and pushes it aside with a loud clatter. And out steps a humanoid figure made of metal and wood. Its eyes glow with a white light, as well as a glyph on its forehead. And that glyph actually matches the same symbol that Fiala is making a rubbing of right now. It turns its metal face to regard all of you, and it speaks. Its drawling voice is tinged with that kind of metallic rattle that you might expect if one of these things could actually speak. And it says, "Ah, yes. This is certainly an interesting body. I think I'll keep it."
I would like to stare at it in the eyes and kind of catch its eye.
You can catch its eye. It does not have pupils or anything like that. It has like just little eye spaces, and each one of those is just glowing with bright white light.
Okay. Greetings, friend. I am Hilofax, and this is my friend Eridu Samaria. We're guests aboard this boat. Would you mind informing us? What is it that causes you to be boxed up here?
Sorry, had to send a little message. the metal thing in front of you chuckles at your little pun. You know, boxed up. Ha 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 ha. Just, I'm having a little laugh at it. It chuckles at the pun and it says, "A pleasure to meet you. I must admit I am already familiar with some of you, but you are not familiar with me. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Zarkon."
Charmed, as he will be. I would like him to make a wisdom saving throw. I am using my class feature, Hypnotic Gaze.
Hypnotic gaze.
Yes.
Does that work on constructs?
It just says
That is-
creature.
Creature?
That is the rule of the construct. You've got to look up the construct and see if it can be affected by charm effects.
But yes, so the fact that it says creature means that I could target basically anything in the monster manual. However, constructs may have their own exception. That's quite right.
Yeah.
What's very likely is the ability's got a tag that'll say like, well, I mean, it's for lack of a better word.
Resistance or immunity.
It's a charm effect.
Exactly.
It is a charm effect. So anything with
Yeah, I'm trying
Yeah, like-
to do a little bit of research
That-
on it really
It's
quick.
constructs are immune to charm effects. I can tell you that right now.
Okay, so maybe he's immune to charm effects. I think he's
Well.
immune to charm effects.
I mean, I was gonna see if you guys had that, but I knew off the top of my head.
Well,
I
You
did
gotta
not know
speak
that.
up.
off the top of my head.
You got to speak up and help out, Asa. So,
Yeah.
This is why
You're the DM here, man.
Warforged
It's not
are
like we-
confirmed as well.
It's not like we DM as a group or anything like that.
no, not at all. So, Hilofax affixes the the construct with his gaze. A twinkle shines in his eye, and he smiles beguilingly, and the construct merely chuckles back at you and says, "Oh, you are such amusing little ones. Much more interesting than your dopey friend Egner."
I can't say I've had the pleasure of meeting an Aigner. Eridu, do you know an Aigner? I don't believe we have the pleasure. Tell me, Zarkon, you sound like such an august person. Traveling with dwarves, are you?
Halifax, I don't believe this is the time and place for this sort of thing. Zarkon, I think we're going to make an arrangement. We would be happy to allow you to keep this body if you do us a favor and get inside of that boat so we can take you and this body back to our other ship and get a good look at exactly what it is.
I'm not much for just taking orders from some lowly elf such as yourself.
Look, I was there when we found you. I don't say I have a lot of reason to trust you, but I do have it within my power to send you to the bottom of this ocean. So, I can do that, or you can get in the ship, and we can work together amicably.
You are lucky, Eridu, that I like this body so much. It has been a long time since I've been able to take corporeal form. And I will play along. For now.
Thank you. Halifax, will you let Jane and Kaylee know that we have the contents of the box situation figured out? We'll just find some of the papers that we need, and then get out of here before this portal closes, and we are discovered. And I'm
yes.
Searching around for things that we might need.
Just for clarity, Eridu. In fact, for clarity, Dungeon Master, has one of the crates been lowered down by this point, or is this still Kaylee talking to Jane Cobb about it?
Kaylee was still talking to Jane Cobb about it. If you do go back to where the hole in the ship is, you will find Kaylee. Actually, maybe they swap places, and Kaylee is down there, and Jane Cobb is up in the ship now, and he's got one of these crates, and he's just trying to wrestle with it, you know. He's just trying to deal with it, and it's just way too heavy.
Master Jane Cobb, forgive me. I was the one who made the mistake of requesting that we take one of these boxes with us. However, we no longer need that. It seems that what's inside is now known to us, and we are going to find something smaller to take with us. Please, return to the boat, relax, we'll be back shortly.
Oh, what? Oh.
I was remarking on your strength, and that we no longer require it, unfortunately.
Okay. I didn't want to lift this thing anyway. What's in it?
It appears to be some sort of a construct, something that moves around in an autonomous fashion, some kind of construct, some kind of guardian. It's not something that we'd want to have active running about on our ship now, is it?
I suppose not. But whatever it is, I could smash it apart.
Yes, you could. And your keen mind in deducing that we don't want this on our ship is exactly the kind of valuable resource that we don't want wasted. Please, Jacob, get back down to the boat with Kaylee, and we shall do the grunt work for you.
Very well. Okay. And he clambers on through the hole. He just looks like he's just ready to get out of here. Like, he just doesn't understand what's going on, and he was just more or less like nodding and smiling through everything you were saying. Yeah.
Eridu, is this Zarkon fellow going to be awake from here on out, do we think?
I would imagine so.
Oh, I am certainly woke. Sorry.
Yes. Well, do you have any plans for the days, Archon? Now that you're corporeal again, apparently.
I would like to explore. And the Warforged fingers are like this. They just have like two big fingers and a thumb thing. So he's like doing this. I would like to explore the capabilities that my new body has.
Indeed. Might I recommend a jog up on the top deck?
I think we should get him in our boat so we can get him to our ship. Studying
Oh.
the capacity of this particular form can be very useful. But I also think that if we can, we should figure out where this shipment was headed, and potentially what it's going to be used for. Because it looks like.
No, I'm sorry, go on. My brain was going. I'm sorry. That's
Okay. It looks like, getting a rough number of the amount of boxes in there, it looks like this is a small army being sent somewhere of mechanical people.
That does seem to be the case.
Yeah, so I want to open up the crate that I was working on, and I want to count how many Warforged there are, because that is something I would know about. Like, what a Warforged is. Special Forces, Major...
I was going to touch on, I don't think we've determined Warforged in our world yet.
Yeah, the intention I had with this reveal was that it was like a new thing, you know?
Right, but it would have been a dwarven construct, right?
Like a new kind of thing, though.
Right, but I'm Special Forces Major allied with...
new, like no one's really seen
Brand new
anything like this
technology,
for.
yeah.
Like the whole idea is that this is brand new technology.
Right.
Like, we may have seen animated armor or something like that before, but to the point of an entirely, like, functioning mechanical being that doesn't appear to be, like, held together through magic.
No, okay.
Alone.
Yeah, then...
I mean, we really don't know what it is, aside from, like it's definitely not something Eridu has ever seen.
No, it's like the same thing I was going for as like at the end of episode 3 with the assassination, and you guys saw firearms for the very first time. It's like your characters were
New
the
technology.
first. You guys were the first.
Said my
one to
argument
witness
is
that
because
shit.
she was a Special Forces.
Yeah, I know, but like.
The army that is directly aligned with the dwarves.
Yeah, but like that shit wasn't around back then. You know, you see what I'm trying to get across? Like,
okay, like how long ago was it developed?
Very, very recently.
I would almost argue, like, seemingly in tandem with the mechanical dragon that the Azamar.
It's almost like it has something to do with that.
Like these things seem to have been developed within the same sort of time frame.
Right.
It's an arms race, baby.
I'm not gonna. Yeah.
It's an arms race.
It wasn't gone that long, so.
Well, so how many are in a box then when Theala opens it up?
Only one per box, because that was what I was trying to get across. Is that each crate is like enormous, and it's like it's like a lot of room for like, because these things are huge.
Yeah.
You know,
okay.
It's like they're easily over like 6 feet tall, each one. You know, and they're made of metal, so they're just like super fucking heavy. So there's tons of crates, and each crate has only one of these. Each.
Just player knowledge, not quite keeping up with character knowledge. These ships and crates, were they going through Twin Harbor to elsewhere, or were these crates being unloaded in Twin Harbor, or do we not know?
There's not a whole lot known. I mean, like, your characters would know more stuff if they like hung out on the docks and did like a fucking sting operation or like a reconnaissance operation on the docks. But,
so we just know that ships have been seen coming through, and that's the mystery.
Definitely. They could be unloading everything in Twin Harbor, or they could be picking up more stuff in Twin Harbor and moving on somewhere else. But you guys are hoping to find more information. to
Yeah,
satisfy
that is what Eridu is in the process of doing now, is searching for.
I would like to look for an exit from this room to access the rest of the ship, and
For sure.
I think a crew quarter or office where a ship's manifest would be.
For sure.
That's the kind of thing.
Very sensible thing to look for. So, Zarkon, with all of the, still doing his little weird hand thing and getting used to his digits, he'll saunter off and give you guys a scathing look, and he'll say, "I can only hope that you three are not as stupid as Agner was." And with that, he'll walk away, drop the mic, and we're going to go ahead and take our break right now, because that's a good moment for taking a break. That little Zarkon reveal. And so check back in with us. We'll be back in like 10-15, and we'll see what's on the rest of this ship. Are they going to get discovered? I don't know, guys. We'll see. So thanks for
See you
joining
soon.
us. We'll be back very soon. We'll be right back.